Fred Hostetler, and I'm a new man, and I can't help but feel it. That had a rocking beat to it. That had a little more rock to it. And I was just thinking, I would love to hear the Stones do that.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome to hear that. No, I like that. That's a rocking little number that I want my jockey to play. I like that a lot.
You got it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, your jockey today got to play it, and you got to play it for him. So thank you and congratulations all in the same breath. We're going to move right on now because our next guest is standing by, and we want you to get to know Shawn Owens. I'm going to take a little bit different track here as we lean a little more to the jazz side. And here is the Shawn Owens Jazz Project with Whiptail. They call themselves the Shawn Owens Jazz Project. And right now we're going to talk to Mr. Shawn Owens himself. Hello, Shawn.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great, and so glad you could be here with us today. Listening to Whiptail, I definitely got some throwback to Dave Brubeck and the Brubeck sound at several points. As a matter of fact, your bass player reminds me greatly of the bass of Gene Wright, who played with Dave Brubeck. Now, let me ask you, is there any influence there, or is that coincidence?
You know, I do like me some Dave Brubeck, so there may or may not be some some creeping in there. Hard to not be influenced by the greats.
You're absolutely right about that. Great to have you here with us and sharing your music and your story. Tell us a little bit about Shawn Owens for the listeners that aren't familiar with you.
Well, it's started my love affair with music back in junior high, just getting into the band program. And I'm the drummer in the group, and so I think I started like most drummers, wanting to play saxophone, and the band director telling me I couldn't. But, usually they're banging on pots and pans, but no, I wanted to play a completely different instrument and got shut down. And drums was available, and I jumped on it and just haven't got off of them since. So it's just been a lot of fun.
So there might possibly also be some Joe Morello influence in there, too.
There's some Joe Morello in there. In my playing, you'll hear a lot of some Chick Webb influence, of course, Krupa and Rich. Going to the new guys, a little bit of Brian Blade in there. But it's I try to listen to as much as I can because.
So like you said, it's hard not to be influenced by the great ones, and you've got a great list there that you've been influenced by. Now, tell us about the music you're doing now. For example, Whiptail. Tell us about that song.
All right. So, as you know, we hit a pandemic not too long ago, and it pretty much shut everything down. We weren't playing any more live shows. So myself and the piano player, Christian Bonenstengel, who is responsible for writing the tunes, I must say, we didn't want to not do anything. So we figured we would utilize this time to just do something productive and creative. So we did. We started looking at writing songs. And that particular song, Whiptail, is inspired by basically our environment. We're in southern Utah, and it's a lot of hiking, a lot of mountain biking here. And that's one thing you could do during the pandemic was get outside. We could go out, easy to social distance, and enjoy nature. And what we have a lot around here are these little lizards, and they're called whiptail lizards. And we would see them everywhere. And them little suckers are fast, which is why that song has such an up-tempo. If you ever try to catch one, it's damn near impossible. And so that everything on the album is influenced just by us not being able to do anything but get out and enjoy nature. So it was really a blessing in disguise for us because we chose to not let it keep us down.
That's a recurring theme we're hearing from a lot of the artists we're talking to in the last few months, the fact that the pandemic shut down the live performing, so they were really becoming more introspective and exploring their creativity, and it's worked for just about everybody we've talked to in one way or another. They've found new avenues, new directions, new music. And, I'm the type of person that tries to find the good in everything. And in the pandemic, this, I think, is one of the good things that came out of it. The fact that people have discovered new music within their solitude, if you will. Now, you've got your band, your group has a unique identification as a two-person trio. What on earth does that mean?
So that's that new Common Core math, right?
Right.
Basically what it came down to was my piano player is just such a gifted individual that on his digital keyboard, we are able to split half the piano to be the lead and the other half to be bass. And he does both lines. He does the bass line and he does the lead at the same time. And I put the drums behind it. So unless you're actually looking at us, you can't tell that there's only two of us playing. For the album, we actually did use a bass player, a really good bass player that's a good friend of mine, who is also our recording engineer, and just to free up the piano player to be even more creative. That's how we got it set up.
I thought you were going to, for a moment there, give us a Spike Jones and tell us that you actually cut the piano in half or something, but I'm glad you didn't do that. I'm also glad that you're the one here today, because I would have really hesitated at introducing Christian and trying to pronounce his last name. So we're really glad you're here with us. And my apologies to Christian. I'm not putting you down at all. I'm putting down my ability to pronounce these names. And fortunately, my co-host has a name that I can pronounce. So John Bon Jovial, you've got something you'd like to say.
Well, yeah, sure. I've been known to speak from time to time. Hey, Shawn, welcome. It really is pretty cool to have you here. And I thoroughly enjoyed Whiptail, and I'm glad that you mentioned the piano player. Now, That piano, is that an electric piano, or is it a grand or stand-up piano, or upright?
In the studio, we did it on a baby grand, but when we perform live, we use an electronic piano because that allows us to get bass sounds as well as the piano sounds.
The thing that really stuck out to me is in listening to the piano solo, and you mentioned the piano player's creativity, is that at times it sounded like a vibraphone. And I know it's a piano, but I'm thinking, how is he getting that sound out of that? And because it is very cool and very innovative.
You know, I honestly couldn't tell you how he's getting the sound of it on the album because we did, like I say, use an acoustic piano. But Christian's touch and his musicality is just superb. And when he starts playing on the piano, it's hard for me to pay attention to what I'm supposed to be doing because he's that good. I find myself just enjoying his playing, and I think that's why it works so well with what we do, is because we both love to hear each other play and respect each other's abilities so much. But I
got to tell you, the dude knows how to tickle the ivories. That's for sure. He, very smooth indeed, very polished.
That's that German efficiency for you. He's straight from Germany, so.
I'll tell you, it reminds me. I'm going to incorporate some country music here, but it reminds me of the stories that used to go around about Johnny Cash when he was in the Air Force. He was for a while a telegrapher, and the story was that he mastered the telegraphy to the point where he could send or receive a different message with each hand virtually simultaneously. And your guy does a great job on the keyboards. I agree with John. Really masterful.
Pretty impressive to watch. First time he pulled it out on me, I was like, we don't even need a bass player. This is great. We get more money per person, and we take up less space in a venue. So it's awesome.
Right. And you don't need movers to move your electric piano.
No, it's pretty simple.
Exactly.
Wasn't a bad.
How long has this two-piece trio been together now?
So we've been together in this configuration for just over a year. Prior to that, we were both members of a